Hi, I am in the sewing room again, and I'm going to show you how to make this really cute Barbie blanket. I'm making this for my best friend's daughters, and this is for Ella, and she likes pink. And then the one I'm going to be working on is for Abby, and she likes green. So this is just a really simple project. It does take some time. These here are 3x3 blocks that I cut out of different materials, and then I have a solid piece on the back here. And as you can tell, I'm not perfect at sewing, and I'm still learning. So this is a project that you can learn from me, but there are other people out there that might teach you a little bit differently. This is, like I said, just a simple little Barbie blanket, and there's nothing in between. It's just the two pieces of fabric, and then I made two little pillows, and I stuffed them with some of that fiber fill. Okay, now I will show you what I have already cut up. Hold on just a second. Alright, I'm hoping the glare of the window isn't going to bother this, you looking at all of this here. But here is the squares, the 3x3 squares that I'm going to sew, and that is what it's going to end up looking like. That's the size. So remember, as you're sewing, you are cutting down a little bit of the size of your blanket. And I'm going to be sewing all of these together. What I did, I cut out 6 each of the colors, and then I put them together the way I want them to look. And this is kind of the way I do the larger quilts that I do, or larger blankets that I do, because it's a lot easier. I'm going to sew each row separately, and then I'll come back and I'll sew these 2 rows together, and then these 2 rows, and then these 2 rows, and so forth. So keep watching. Another thing you want to watch when you are sewing is you have a pattern, and you need to follow your pattern. So once I've sewn these 2 blocks, I need to remember which block is going to go on either side. And the way that I do that, I usually have them all laid out, and this here is the next block that's going to be sewn onto here. So I pick up my blocks as I need them. So I need this one right here, and at times I will pin this here, but it's such a small piece that I am not pinning. So just make sure that you're careful, because you can end up sewing the wrong piece, to the piece you didn't want to, and kind of mess up your project. And I did that, and that's why we now have those 2 pink pillows. So keep watching, guys. Now that they're all sewn, I cut off the little strings on there, the little thread that was hanging, and I'm going to iron these down. And I'm doing it one-handed because I'm holding the camera. You just want to iron them down, and I iron them all just in one direction. Once I'm done ironing them, I will start sewing them together. Well, I'm now on the last row. I sewed each of these rows together, this one to that one, and then that one to these 2, that one to those, so forth. Make sure, again, that you're lining up properly. If you don't line up properly, then you end up sewing in the wrong way, and you don't want to do that. I've made that mistake before. So just make sure that you're careful and you're watching what you're doing. And I do have my pins here. I've been pinning. And you just match them up. And unfortunately, for some reason, it's just not, if I could, I can't. It's not matching up for me when I flip it, so I'm just going to do the best I can. And it looks cute. That's the thing about sewing, about creating your own projects, people are going to love it anyway because it's made by you. So don't get discouraged if everything doesn't match up. Oh dear, that is not going to work. Oh no, it's going to have to work. Okay, I'm going to sew this really quickly. And I'm going to bring you close so I can show you this. I don't want this here to happen, so make sure your needle is down, lift up your pressure foot or your presser foot, and then you can pat that down and then continue sewing. And I take out my pins as I come to them. And now that I'm at the end, I'm going to go back stitch. That kind of makes the knot. And then I cut. And there. Let's move this back instead of the camera. See? I don't know how that happened. I really don't. It's frustrating to me. But I'll fix it in the long run. I'm going to take this over here and iron it. Take all this up. Sometimes working in a small space is difficult, but you make do. And when I iron this, I'm just going to iron it all one way. So I'll bring you back when I'm ready to sew the back onto it. Alright, I have everything pinned and I'm ready to sew. I chose, let me see, where is the opening? I chose this here for the backing. I thought that would be really good. That is the child's favorite color, so I thought that would be good, having a green background. And I pinned it, and I'm going to sew it all the way through, and I'm going to stop here, and then I'll flip it through this area here, and then I'll sew it and almost be done. Well, we're almost done. I've sewn all sides and I sewed half of this side. This here is open, and that's where I'm going to flip it. And I forgot to cut that. I'm going to flip this through. Always remember that the pretty sides, the right side, needs to be together when you're sewing, and then you flip it over. Turn it inside out, kind of like a shirt. Kind of a, oh my gosh, it's so hard to do this when you have a small project. To show you the one project I made, it was almost impossible. Okay, there. And then just poke it through with your thumb. There. It's not very difficult. The hardest part, like I said, is to match up perfectly. And if it's not matched up perfectly, it's okay. The better you get at it, the more things will match up better. If I had more time to really spend on sewing, I think I could get it down a little better. But anyway, fold this in, and this is kind of tedious as well. I'm going to fold that in like so. Yeah, looks easy. And that there needs to be sewn a little bit more to make it a little easier for me to but well, yeah, let's see if I can do this right. Alright, I'm going to sew this part because I had to cut the material to get it all even. This here isn't sewn very well, so I'm going to sew that up again, and it's going to make it a little bit easier for me to fold that down and to sew it properly across. So hold on. Okay, I've sewn this little area, and it does make it a lot easier to fold that down. And then that's going to be sewn. I'm going to iron it real quick just to lay it all down flat. And then, ouch, hot. And now I'm going to iron, or excuse me, I'm going to sew all the way around. Because this little area is going to be sewn and it's going to stick out, I'm going to end up sewing all the way around, so you can't really tell that that was my cutoff point. The done product looks pretty good, doesn't it? 2 pillows and a really cute blanket. She can use it on either side. Simple, easy project. Try it yourself. Thanks for watching, everybody. Give me a thumbs up, a like, and a comment. Thanks.